Alright, hey guys. Hope everybody's doing good and not getting super stir crazy with the whole coronavirus thing going on. So today is just going to be kind of like a Dreamline update, talk about the power plenum a little bit, some of the power mods that I've done to this, how that's working out, what I'm got on here, and how some of the stuff, gauges, how I mounted my strap and why, and just some of the other little odds and ends about the Dreamline. So one of the latest things that I've done is I've upgraded the transfer ports on my barrels. So this is my 2.5 barrel, and that right there is what the transfer port looks like. I picked this up from Huma. This is the Huma dual hole transfer port, high flow dual hole transfer port for FX impact. It's the same for any barrel, really. There's no difference between a Dreamline barrel or a Crown barrel and an impact barrel as far as the actual core components go. You'll have different shrouds, obviously, for the others, but these parts are all the same. So this is my original probes. Let me pull these out. They're my transfer ports. And these were not stock either. I dremeled these out. You can see it was a little shaky on that one. But this was my 2.2 that I drilled out a little bit. And this was the 2.5 that I also ported out a little bit. Just kind of an ellipse. Hopefully you guys can see that alright. So basically you just unthread this off the back of your barrel there. And it comes with these O-rings already on it. I just took these off because you have to apply some heat to kind of break the Loctite up. These are pretty on there, so just FYI. Ernst Rowe has a video on how to replace these and change them. I will hunt that video down and post a link in the description because that's basically the exact same steps that I did to this barrel. So I'll forward you to that video so that I don't make you cringe at the process, because I'm sure some people are going to be like, oh my god, blowtorch barrel? But, it's not that big of a deal. You need to heat this little joint up right here where this O-ring is. So you're going to want to pop that O-ring out. And when you heat it up, it doesn't need to get hot. Like, it just needs to get, maybe just barely warmer than you would want to grab. But you don't need anything glowing red. You don't want to see any kind of discoloration. As you can see, like, I didn't get these real hot. I just heated them up a little bit, which is, I believe, the recommended way of doing that. Anyway, they went back on with no problem at all. Loctited them up as recommended. And I like them a lot. You get a lot more airflow through this. And because of that little rail, I don't know if you guys can see that, there's a little chunk that partitions, that's basically just one big square hole that's got a little channel left behind in the center. And the idea behind that is to give this projectile something to ride on as it's getting chambered. One of the things, I should have brought my 25 caliber probe up here, I don't know what I was thinking. One of the other things I did do to the pellet probe, which I don't know if you guys will be able to see it when I turn the gun around, but when you get this is substantially larger than the stock transfer ports. So what I did is I put my pellet probe inside the barrel, lined everything up to where it seats when this is forward and closed and ready to fire, and then just kind of marked out the excess material that I could see through this gap. So I just looked through there, the material that I could see that was blocking that hole, I just took a Dremel and removed it so that this was all just wide open into the barrel. I did not, cut out like a half moon or anything like that. Some guys have actually cut the whole bottom portion off, and I didn't do anything that crazy. I've heard that there's also a power probe that's just a pin, and it removes the whole, circular part entirely. But I haven't found that one yet, so if I do, I will probably install it and let you guys know. There'll definitely be some differences in the way that it loads certain types of pellets, from one probe style to a different probe style, so I'll do that maybe someday. I don't know. Anyway, so I've got the power plenum installed on here. Currently, this is set up with my 22-600 slug liner barrel. So I'm shooting 22 caliber at the moment, and with the tune I've got right now, let's see if you guys can get a shot of that. Glare's killing it. Maybe. Okay. So about 140 bars where I'm sitting at, and that's giving me right around, I think, 47, 48 foot-pounds of energy in 22 caliber, which is pretty good, especially considering that the gun isn't stressed out at all right now. Like, the firing cycle feels nice and smooth, the accuracy is pinpoint, and everything's just, it shoots really nice. And I've got, full range on my power wheel for the heavy lead, all the way down to some of the lighter stuff, or if I just want to slow things down a little bit. One thing I've noticed, one thing I've noticed is that the, right around maybe 143, 145 bar seems to be about the point of diminishing returns with the weight of the hammer. So it is what it is, but that's about seems to be where it plateaus for me anyway. But in any case, 48 foot-pounds is totally respectable. It's actually, I think it's pretty close to 49 foot-pounds. But, that's shooting a 26 grain slug at like 910, 915 feet per second, which is getting it done. I'm easily shooting lighter weight slugs like 24s, 22s at 950, 965. And like I said, without stressing the gun out, it feels nice and smooth, nice and crisp, not wasting a lot of air. So all is well on that front. This is still with the stock original FX regulator. So everything is still basically stock on this internally, minus the probe and the transfer port in here. But so I got my power plenum installed right here, and just the stock FX reg. You guys might have noticed this is not a stock gauge. This is the Wika gauge. I picked this up from Huma. I would recommend replacing your reg gauges if you're real into tuning. Mine was incredibly off what it was actually reading, and made some of my tuning results a little puzzling when I tried to do the math. So I upgraded this to a Wika. Depending on what stock option you have, you might have to make a little notch. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I actually cut a little recess underneath this gauge to get it to fit. So that's just one thing to kind of keep in mind if you're squeamish about that kind of thing. When I bought this gun, I kind of decided this is going to be mine for life, so I'm not really worried about the resale value. So while we're talking about gauges, up front here, that right there is the Edgun EDMU gauge. This is an electronic digital gauge. See if you guys can see that there. So it shows you your fill pressure. This is going to be weird on camera. Alright, you got bar, and it turned off. I think it's got average. Let's see. I can't remember off the top of my head. So you click it once to turn on, it tells you your bar. Double tap it, it'll show you your average shot count, so how many shots per fill you're going to get expectedly. So it's telling me I got 25 shots left on this fill with the current tune. And then I got my reg pressure, which dictates that, set to 142, which is pretty close to what my actual reg pressure is running. It's right at around 140. You can change all the settings. It's a little interesting to do that. I might make a video on how the Edgun gauge works, but I really like it. It's super accurate. Yeah, you have to turn it on and off. It's a digital gauge. It times out, but it's not a big deal. I think the features that it gives you are very cool. This has an extra function that you can turn on in the menu that will allow you to view your the amount of air used for your last shot, show you the average of all your shots, how much air is being used over an entire shot string, as well as several other things. But it's pretty neat the readouts that it gives you. Now keep in mind, it'll only give you those readouts if that's your primary main tank gauge. Meaning, if you put that gauge on your regulator, it's only seeing the air in your regulator, and it can't calculate your shot count or do any of the other kind of cooler, neater stuff like that. Alright, so that's gauges. Let's see here. One of the little kind of just afterthoughts I had was, I seen everybody with these cool Crawford and Lip buttstocks that have the adjustable monopod in the back, and I was like, man, that's cool, I want one, but no one made one there's nothing yet for a bullpup that I know of, anyway. So I just went to the hardware store and, bought a bolt and drilled it in the bottom of my stock and put a little bouncy ball on there, and it works well enough. So you can crank this up and down. I think I got a total of, I went pretty deep on this. I think this is a 5-inch bolt. So, you can even get to a downward angle with that, which is pretty cool. And that was I think it cost me like $6, something like that. And that was mainly because I had to buy a 12-pack of bouncy balls to get the 8-ball. So that was the bulk of the expense. It was like $4.99 on Amazon. Aside from that, I think it was like $1.50 for the bolt. I got one of those long coupling nuts that's inside of here. Let's see, what else. So the way I've run my sling, we'll talk about that for a second. So I've got a QD disconnect on the top of my cheek rest back here. This is a QD swivel mount. I like this because it swings freely 360 degrees without unthreading anything or doing any weirdness, and it's also quick to detach if for some reason you need to detach it. Then I've got up here, give you guys a close-up of this. This is a Cadwell. Let me take this off of here. That's a Cadwell pick rail adapter. So basically, the way that this works is you actually put a regular sling stud on, in the center of this, thread that on, install like you normally would a sling stud, and then this has a little bracket that has a pin that goes through that sling stud and basically clamps that onto the body of your rifle with a little rubber protector pad under here, so that when you take this off, you just have a sling stud, because it doesn't swivel, it's just screwed in. In any case, that has another sling stud on the back of the pick rail, so then you don't lose your sling options. And that just takes, let me remove my little protector deal here. That just takes your standard, sling coupling in there. So I didn't do a QD mount on the front of the stock just because I didn't really want to drill any deep holes on the front up here, and I don't really need my front mount to swivel for any reason. It doesn't serve any functional or practical purpose really to have it swivel, at least for my application. Fighting with this thing. It's worth the fight though, because once it's in place, and it doesn't move, and it keeps your strap nice and quiet for the most part. Alright, so that'll bring me to the actual sling itself. This is a Viking Tactics 2-point adjustable sling. When it comes to slings, there is, you get what you pay for. If you get a $20 Amazon sling, it's not going to be comfortable. If you get an adjustable one, the adjustments are not going to be smooth or friendly to use. It's just not comfortable. I would definitely suggest, if you plan on slinging a gun for a long period of time or using it as a shooting aid where it's going to be wrapped tight around your neck, get something like this. This is definitely way worth it. And I'll kind of show you guys why. Hopefully you can see this in frame. Back up a little bit. So this is one of the main reasons why I slung my sling this way. For one, if I want to use my rifle, this top part of my sling is driving it right back into my shoulder the second I pick my gun up. It's not on the bottom here where it's going to be pulling it up over my shoulder or down under my arm and out of the way. It's pulling it right into a lockable shooting position, which makes this very nice for getting on target and shooting. The other thing is I have all my sling mounts directly to the chassis and not the rifle, so that no matter what kind of torque I put on this, it's not getting transferred to the working components. I haven't noticed any kind of POI shift from shooting like this off of a rest or anything like that. I really like shooting like this when I'm shooting off shooting sticks, sitting position. The other thing that's really nice about this sling is this quick adjust feature. So I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this here, but right here there's a release string and a pull tab. So if I pull this, I can cinch the gun up tight for a nice tight carry, or have it cinched tight to my body for a nice locked in shooting position. I have a quick, I have a little catch tab on here just to keep the slack up, but you can even cinch this up way tighter and have it in a real high slung position, or, oop, good grief, have it slung over your back pretty easily. So that's one of the things I really like about this sling, is that capability, that function, and its ease of use. When I pull this, the gun drops on its own. You're not fighting with it. You're not pulling. You're not doing this number trying to pull the, your rifle away from you. It just comes right out. So silky smooth adjustments, definitely a plus. I bought one of the cheaper knockoff kind of imitations of this, and it sucked. So, and these things aren't crazy expensive. It's not like slings get to, well, I'm sure they probably do get to $300 or $400, but this is like $50. So it's not outrageous. But I like the quick adjust feature. I like it because, especially, even if you're shooting off a bipod, even if you're shooting off a bipod, you can cinch this thing down and just lock the gun right to you, to where, like, I'm not even holding the thing and I'm pretty much looking dead through the scope locked in. So I like it as a functional shooting aid, not just as something to kind of carry your rifle around. Let's see. Sorry, I'm kind of talking quick because I'm trying to get through all of it without making this a super long video. I guess up top we'll talk about the optics for a second. On top we've got Athlon Aries. This is a 6.4 to 27. First focal plane with the APMR reticle. This is the mill reticle. Very nice. I like it a lot. I got this on sale on Amazon for like 55% off. So I would suggest, if you want a really killer deal on a scope, throw one of these on your wish list or whatever on Amazon, because they'll throw these things on sale for a lot off. And if you look at the MSRP on this, 50% off of the MSRP is a legit deal. So I got a little knockoff bubble level on here. I've been meaning to upgrade this to a Vortec. Underneath we got the FX No Limit rings. Really like these. Like those a lot. Running kind of like a knockoff Atlas, or not Atlas, but Accutech style bipod. I forget what this is the knockoff style of, but I like it a lot. It has basically the same functions. You pull the legs out to adjust them. It works pretty well. It's obviously not going to be as solid as the $300 counterpart, but I don't really need that heavy duty of a bipod. I'm sure they're exceptionally nice and all that kind of good stuff, but I just, I have other things that I would rather spend that kind of money on. So that's basically it. I haven't done a test yet with the 25 caliber with the new pellet probe in it, or with the new transfer port. I'll be doing that later coming up. I have a whole series of changes coming up for this gun, which include some stuff that I'm going to keep secret until it happens and I have all the parts and I'll make sure it works properly. But I'm really excited about it. I'm also getting a 30 caliber 700 millimeter barrel for this, and a second power plenum is on order just for that 700 mil barrel. So stay tuned for that. We'll see. I'm getting a slug liner for it as well. That's none of those items are in stock currently, so it might be a week or two before you see that or more. But stay tuned. Hopefully in the next couple weeks I should have a pretty cool, very in-depth video on this, and we'll talk about all the internals and some other stuff, and the gun will look very much different at the end of that video. So I'm excited about that. I guess I'll just take you guys downstairs real quick. I'm not going to get carried away doing a whole shot string. I'm just going to show you guys that, yeah, it's putting out like 48 foot-pounds without really stressing the gun out. Maybe someday there will be like a hammer weight that's like a few grams heavier, and we'll be able to get up into that 150 foot-pound, or that 150 bar, sorry, range. Personally, I wouldn't recommend running your reg too much past that, just because it's been my experience that once your reg gets up, like, say, like 155, the hammer strike isn't able to dump enough air out of the regulator, and so the back pressure on the valve when it closes is much higher, and the gun will start to feel much more violent and could potentially lead to some issues if, you know, it's left like that for a real long time, or you crank it up, you know, excessively. But, you know, I'm finding plenty of power right at around 140 bar to 130 bar, depending on what you're trying to shoot. I definitely really like the Huma transfer port. I think this was like 28 euros, something like that. I forget what that breaks out. It's like $32 US. Very cool, easy to install, and I'm digging that. I think to get your full advantage of this, you will probably need to modify your pellet probe just a little bit. And so basically, this little notch here, I just made that longer in each direction. So I ground it down this way and this way until I couldn't see any of it through that transfer port there. And to put that in perspective, I guess previously at this same tune, I was getting roughly maybe like 41 foot-pounds of energy, and I'm currently now getting around 48 foot-pounds of energy. So there's definitely a power increase, and it's definitely, you know, I'm able to push, you know, some 26, 27 grain slugs at over 900 feet per second. So that's definitely, you know, that's a nice flat shot strength, or flat shot trajectory with plenty of power. I mean, 48 foot-pounds in a 22 is more than a lot of 25s put out, so I'm pretty pleased with it. And like my little gauge thing showed, I don't know if it actually showed it. Get it to show it though. So I'm at 218 bar. I'm going to tap this again and show you your average. So I got 25 shots left. For those of you guys that are curious about, I got 25 shots left until I'm at 140 bar on my reg. So anyway, that's my Dreamline as it is currently today. Kind of all the odds and ends. I'll show you real quick. So if you get one of these QD mounts, this thing right here is about a 1/2 inch long. So what I did was I actually countersunk that down into the stock almost all the way. I probably could have gone down deeper. I would have liked to have, but for whatever reason I just didn't feel like doing it at the time. So that's as far as I went. But anyway, I like my sling on the top like this. You know, I think it's really interesting. I was watching an NRL 22 competition the other day, and literally every competitor had a sling in a tactical setup like this, even though they weren't tactical rifles. They were precision match rifles, and they're shooting in matches, but every single shooter used a sling as a shooting aid. Now granted, this isn't a bench competition, but I just found that to be very interesting, and I've always found a sling to be a useful addition to any rifle if it's set up properly. It can do a lot more than just carry your rifle for you. So I hope you guys found that informative. If you got any questions or comments about anything that you saw on this, feel free to leave them in the comments below. You can also hit me up on Instagram at leadslinger22, leadslinger.22, and we can hook up that way. Let's see here. All right, I guess we'll go downstairs and I'll just fire a couple shots over the chronograph for you guys real quick so you can see what this is set up is actually shooting. And I'm not going to do like an accuracy test. My target's soaked. It's been raining all day, and yeah, so that will be another day. Hopefully in the future I'll be doing some more ballistics gel videos. Been doing a lot of testing with the ballistics gel. I just haven't been filming it because I haven't had time. So we'll get around to it. But anyway, so this is the long overdue Dreamline video. There will be another one coming up. In short, if you're watching this video to get your thoughts and opinions on, do you want this? I think this is an awesome rifle. The capabilities and, interchangeability, this really is a great rifle for, in a lot of ways. It's putting out plenty of power. If you get yourself a power plenum for $25, it's a no-brainer, I think. It's stupid accurate. The triggers are lovely. If you do have any issues with it, FX is great to work with in my experience. And working on these things compared to working on some of the cheaper guns, it is so nice. Like, everything is so well put together and thought out that it's really, really nice to work on. And parts are available left and right. So, I had some issues with the gun originally, and I've come to love it, and it is what it is. It's a great gun. Nothing's perfect, but this is definitely, I don't think you're going to find anything else in this price range that can do what this rifle can do, regardless of what configuration you get it. It's really cool, and it's really pleasant to work on. So I've enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, like it, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I will try and put some more videos out a little sooner. I know I've been taking my time getting these out to you guys, but it's been busy with everything going on. So, all right. Hit me up in the comments if you got any questions. See you guys later. Alright, so here's what we're going to be shooting. You guys can see 26 grains. This is what they look like. So this is a hollowed out boat tail. Okay, so that's a RBT rebated boat tail, hollow point. And we shaved some weight out of the back to make it 26 grains. These do fit in both the standard magazine and the side shot magazines. So that's very cool. Don't load too bad. We've had a couple issues out of the impact just because the mag's so large. But alright, we're going to set you up right over here so you guys can see the chronograph. Get this focused back properly here. Alright. So I'm just going to shoot a couple shots real quick just to show you guys what kind of power this is putting out with the 26 grain. Alright. So it's 897. So we'll go up to max power, yeah, So this is max power right here. So, as you guys can see, that's what my settings are at. And so yeah, that right there, 26 grain at 919. That is 48.6 foot-pounds, I'm pretty sure, off the top of my head. So yeah, I definitely think the power plenum is definitely worth it. See here. Yeah, so, alright, well, you can't even see me, so this is kind of pointless. But power plenum, go ahead and get you one. They work great. It definitely helped the accuracy, took the stress out of the power, and works very well. So I recommend it, and hopefully this weather gets better so I can go do some hunting. Alright guys, until next time, stay safe, have fun shooting, and you know, if you like this kind of stuff, like, subscribe. I'll try and put some more stuff out like this. I have another really extensive video on the Dreamline coming up. I'll probably break into 2 parts. Hopefully, maybe in the next 2 weeks. But anyway, till next time, guys. Later.